Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous and Elite Dangerous Odyssey. With Update 8 now with us. After a little bit of a shaky start with the display of languages and it being bumped back from a morning release to an afternoon release, Frontier Developments have released their patch notes. Now I'll put a link to the patch notes so you can read them at your leisure in the description. However, there's a couple of things I wanted to pull out, as I did with my Update 7 video a couple of weeks ago. One of the first things I want to talk about really is around about optimization. Now, it's no secret that Odyssey is run like an absolute dog, even on higher end PCs. I myself are fortunate to have an i9. I've had a new PC, great, when Odyssey launched back in April, May time. And I've got a 3080 Supreme RTX card. And it still ran like a dog. There have been improvements, however, and obviously you can do things by dropping down the quality. But when you drop a considerable amount of change on a machine like this, that's meant to be totally kick-ass, right? And runs every other game brilliantly. You want it to run, perhaps one of your favourite games that you spend an awful lot of time in, perfectly, and at high quality and high resolution. I typically play at 4K. Anyway, let's get on to the optimization bit. FDev has done an awful lot of work on optimization, and that's been really anticipated by everybody who's been playing Elite Dangerous Odyssey. And let's face it, the numbers have dropped off quite significantly lately. Anyway, in the patch notes, they do call this out. They've allowed for GPU performance improvements to lit effects such as glass skin particles, as well as GPU light culling. So they've made some improvements around that to help prioritize performance. I noticed a huge drop in performance when going up to the screens and then coming out of the screens, you know, the display screens on a station or on a surface. I would get a drastic frame drop there as well, and it would slowly recover as I moved around. Also, they've made various improvements around shadow prioritization to help with performance. Great. A primary fix to fix the visual flickering around shadows. They said they've made a more refined way of choosing the priority of shadows that display. Also, instancing is being fixed on a case-by-case basis, so further reports will be addressed individually. So that's a good comment they've made there, because optimization will be ongoing. They've probably made a broad range of fixes that have been reported, and by the telemetry that's been fed back from the various crash reports that I dare say people have fed in, and they're addressing it. So I tip my virtual hat to you, Frontier Developments, for recognizing all of this and fixing it. But let's face it, you had to do something, right? You had to do something if, you know, top-end machines couldn't run it at the higher resolutions. They continue and say the various optimizations to lighting systems and light rendering have been made. Textured light shader optimization. Replace a resolve pass with a typed UAV load. What does this mean? I don't know, but it sounds impressive. Shadow textured spotlight instancing for less draw calls. Again, I think unless you're a graphical artist, you just got to believe they've done something, and I'm sure they have, and I'm sure it would be great. The shader scalarization optimization, fix the order of terrain rendering. Well, that will be good, especially in Odyssey when you're going around and doing your bases. Fix performance drops when on foot with a number of ships flying above your head, and various feature and mission optimizations. Great stuff. Optimization. Brilliant. So they've done an awful lot of graphical optimization. Let's just hope that when we get into playing this in anger, it doesn't fall over and make a right old mess. So optimization, quite a hugely anticipated fix for Update 8 for Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Let's hope it makes a huge bit of difference, because it certainly needs it. So moving on. The community management team have come up with the updates of note, and these being the Alliance Crusader, Anaconda, Beluga, Federal Corvette, Imperial Cutter, Type 9 and Type 10 now support a multi-crew of 4. So if you're going to go and do your surface missions, and you want to take your crew with you, you're going to need an Alliance Crusader, an Anaconda, a Beluga, a Federal Corvette, an Imperial Cutter, a Type 9 and a Type 10. which, with the exception of the Alliance Crusader, really, are quite big ships, to be perfectly honest. And some of the settlements, you're not going to be able to get down there. So it could be, or it does look like, that if you want to go down and you all go in the same ship, and let's hope instancing works, that the Alliance Crusader could be the go-to ship for doing your combat missions on the ground. Just my point of view, we're going to have to find out. They've also added 4 new engineers. Boltanos, Eleanor Bressa, Rosa Dayet, and Yi Shen to the Colonia region. These are Colonia engineers. And what exactly do they do? Well, they redacted these, but you could click on them and remove the shadow. So, Balatanos, noise suppression, accuracy, handling, jump assist, improved life support, sprint duration, ADS movement. Eleanor has got clip size, reload speed, backpack reload, increased ammo reserves, armor rating, shield regen, increased melee damage. Rosa, range, scope, stability, backpack capacity, improved radar, tool battery and battery capacity, and Yi has synthetic audio suppression, headshot damage, quieter footsteps and night vision. What exactly all that means, we're going to have to get ourselves over to Colonia, or unless you are a Colonia commander, and find out what it's all about. But it is going to give more content for people to get and do once they get themselves out of the bubble. Another rather meaty addition with Elite Dangerous Odyssey Update 8 is that you can now disembark into the internal concourse on Wells-class megaships. Something that people have been asking for a while, and hopefully in future updates we're going to get to be able to walk around our own fleet carrier after you've dropped 4 billion credits on it, added all these things. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So that's going to be something as well we can look at, and it adds to the depth of the game, especially around these Wells-class megaships, and be able to walk around those as well. And we'll come on a little bit further on in the video and we talk about that. Another good thing as well is the Emote System. You can now be able to salute, wave, applaud, disagree, agree, point, stop, advance, go emotes. Pretty standard stuff, really, especially waving as opposed to just ducking up and down when you see someone. That's a good stuff, really. And to be fair, you got a question. If you're going to, it really should have been in there from the beginning, shouldn't it, really, in my opinion. Anyway, they've added new missions to meet and interact with characters at settlement. Great, a little bit more variety. That would be fantastic. And added new delivery and smuggling missions. Ooh, great, something else to do and get in there. They've also added bounty hunter and assassin ships to some Odyssey missions. Okay. And updated cosmetics from Horizons to integrate properly with the Odyssey version of the game. And I suppose that's more about how your character is displayed. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. So these updated existing Horizon cosmetics to have Odyssey variants. The existing Horizon cosmetics and now have Odyssey counterparts included in their packs for no additional cost. What does that mean? Each piece of the existing gear has been split up into a torso and leg section, allow for compatibility with existing Odyssey attire. Right, okay then. So if we went out there and did some character generation in Odyssey and decked our commanders out in a different sort of flight suit and all the rest of it, now that's going to be in Odyssey, I reckon. They've rectified some erroneous balance values with jump assist on different suit types. Oh dear, I quite like flying around and jumping around some of these installations. Makes things a bit easier. And with a recent update, some of the abilities to jump swayed from their original designs, and they've set the values back to new scaling. Well, perhaps you can't jump as far anymore. They've fixed some issues with conflict zones, which are called conflict zones to occasionally spawn too close to starports. Of course, you incur a bit of problems there. And they fixed a yellow adder error when selling mission-linked cargo to a black market or fleet carrier. We've already mentioned the engineers. With the megaships, they've added these social spaces, again, to the Wells-class megaships, which are Inter Astra, Apex, Vista Genomics, Pioneer Supplies, Bartender, Frontline Solution, Escape Pods. Escape Pods are available at megaships to cover any rare situations where players might find themselves on a megaship and are unable to get to their own ship. Okay, when you choose to use a friendly ever supportive escape pod, it basically sends you through the death flow where you eventually wake up at a safe location. Okay, but why wouldn't you use a taxi, an Interastra, and go somewhere else? Anyway, they've added escape pods, and like I mentioned, they're available at megaships to cover these rare situations. So there's been an awful lot of chatter as well around fleet carriers. When modules have been added to the fleet carrier, the capacity limit increases equal to the module, whereas that was a problem and a reported fix. The fleet carrier UI interactivity fixes. Following update 7, there were some problems when some fleet carrier UI screens failed to load, so they fixed that as well. They've done some interactions as well with damage details for glass and metal surfaces. Again, fix for decals appearing incorrectly on turrets. Ship launch fighters no longer contribute to conflict zones at settlements, and that relieves the chance of an exploit. Lighting again, well, we covered a lot of lighting in the graphical section for optimization. They've done an awful lot of work on lighting. They've got some cockpit overheating VFX will now consistently trigger when appropriate. Well, that wasn't working, and that was quite frustrating as well. And they've done some work as well around livery. In regards to the new missions, let's talk about these. They've added mission contacts. These are characters that commanders will meet during missions to fulfill various mission objectives. Great, a little bit more variety and not such a sterile environment when you go into some of these missions, you know? You want it to feel like a bustling base you're going into with people with their own personalities and agendas going on. So they've got delivery, smuggling and collection from content. They've added AI bounty hunter and assassin ships, like I mentioned earlier on, added flight risk targets to assassination and takedown missions. Great. Covert heights missions from mission providers should now appear more commonly, blah 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 blah. One of the good things that people are looking for if you're bombing around in Elite Dangerous Odyssey with your crew is the addition of multi-crew. So the 4th seat will now appear automatically in the Alliance Crusader, Anaconda, Beluga, Federal Corvette and Imperial Cutter. Great. So the optimization section we've covered. You know, I think it's going to be a good update. There's quite a few, game enhancements here as well. But for me, the key thing to all of this, you can forget walking around mega ships and all that. That's great and it's nice to have. It's actually getting the game to run as anticipated. And if it can do that, and it can continue to do that, with all the other updates that they've got coming on as well, that will be absolutely fantastic. So, with that, I'll put the description and the link for the forums for Frontier for this update, and hopefully we can all start enjoying Elite Dangerous Odyssey. And I know, console commanders, my heart goes out to you, as it was intended. And hopefully these updates will then trigger off the console version of Elite Dangerous Odyssey for all our Xbox and PlayStation 4 and 5 players as well. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for listening to my rant and pick apart of Elite Dangerous Odyssey Update 8. Hope you found it useful. There's a lot in there, and I'd encourage you to read it. Looking forward to those new missions. Take care, see you soon, and look back for more videos in the series.